Hello, thank you for joining me for another episode of Total Ramblings. It's Sunday, the 21st of September 2025, and it is 11:25 a.m. British summertime. Sorry about yesterday's slightly random episode. It's a little routine that I do in my head every now and then, whenever things just decide to randomly throw themselves on the floor and aim for my feet normally. I wrote a poem once called I Think My Toes Are Hitler, because I'm convinced that, my toes have to be assassinated because they're going to cause some global catastrophe or something. Or so you'd think, given the rate at which things throw themselves on my toes. There's some runners going by. This is Garlick Lane. Not that you can see it, by the way. But ever since they've built new houses, there's always new housing being built where I live. My house is 34 years old, and there's been at least 4 or 5 new housing estates built. So this whole area is constantly being built up, which is fine. I'm not one of those NIMBY arseholes. But the thing is, this is Garlick Lane, which is a country lane, albeit quite a wide one. But of course, the more houses they build in this half of the town, the busier it gets. And I do actually think they probably need to upgrade this and put dotted line down the middle of the road, because there are some bits where you've got you have to sort of wait while someone goes past, but it's becoming quite a busy road. And I go up that road. I'm off it now. I go up that road every time I visit Liz, and it's definitely been getting busier since I first moved here about 25 years ago. So, but I'm not complaining about the housing. People need places to live, right? I'm just saying it's a fact of life that road is getting busier, and it just needs a bit of care and attention, I think, because people come down there very fast. So anyway, the randomness of yesterday's video. Things are constantly falling on the floor, meaning I have to pick them up. Now that's already difficult for me because I'm 6'7", and stuff on the floor is, literally that much further away. But stuff is constantly aiming for my feet. I swear that the universe has got something against my feet. But then what happened was, then the whole thing with Liz happened, and given all the other shit that's happened in my life, I've come to realise it's not just my feet, it's me generally. The universe just hates me generally, and I've kind of grown to accept that over the last maybe year. I've just grown to accept that I'm clearly just here to suffer. I'm probably here as an example for everyone else of what not to do, to be honest with you. So, there you go. You got to laugh, haven't you? You got to laugh. Anyway, we're now passing through Cliddesden. Just thought I'd mention that. Lots of cyclists out today. It's 13 degrees today. It's going to be 5 degrees tonight. It's lovely autumnal sun peeking through the clouds and through the trees. Lovely colours at this time of year. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, but we are getting to the days where there's a slight chill in the air. Ostensibly it's my favourite time of year, but I've kind of come to appreciate all times of year, really. Obviously you've got the burst of bright flower colours in spring. You've got summer where you can pretty much mong around, do what you like, leave the doors open. Winter where you're all wrapped up nice and warm. Autumn with the lovely colours and the temperature's not too extreme. It's just every season's got something going for it, really. And it's interesting doing this same journey every day now for over a year to visit my wife. It's interesting watching the seasons change and watching the fields go through their cycles of being ploughed, planted, harvested, ploughed, planted, harvested, or left fallow, or watching the sheep growing up. You know, it's kind of... sometimes on these journeys, there's not a lot else to think about, if I'm honest with you. So there you go. I'm heading early today. My mother-in-law and my son are still on holiday. It's now a week since they left, so obviously I don't have dinner at my mother-in-law's today. So I'm going to have dinner at the Hopsitals, which means spending more time with Liz today. So I'm going to try and get her out of the room, wheel her around a bit, try and get her out of the room, try and get her seeing some stuff. Officially, she's been in isolation. What happened was, and I'm sorry, Ladles and Jelly Spoons, if I'm about to give you a bit of TMI, too much information. She was a little bit loose in the bowel area, shall we say, earlier this week. And the hospital massively overreacted and went, oh my God, she's got an infection, and put her in isolation, which basically means she wasn't allowed to leave her room. They cancelled physio, blah-de-blah-de-blah. The reality of the fact is that Liz is very prone to such episodes if she eats baked beans and or peanuts. When she was at home, if she ate a whole bag of peanuts, you know, that was the evening gone, basically. And she's back to normal now, but she was trying to explain this to them. And she's got a sneaky supply of Imodium, but they wouldn't let her take it. I don't know why she told them she had it, and so basically they massively overreacted, and it's just like a bit ridiculous, really. So I'm hoping today we can get her out of the room. She likes to stay in her room, but the problem is that's now her whole world, is that room. Although arguably you could say the whole house is my world, because I don't leave the house. Yesterday the house, I got up early. Not early, I got up earlier than I would. Backtrack. Last week I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Normally when I used to live with Liz, when Liz was at home, I wouldn't get up till 12, 1 o'clock. I would really have a lie. But lately I've been getting up 8 or 9, just naturally been waking up and getting up. So I got up about 9. Well, I woke up about 8, got out of bed about 9, and the house was generally tidy. So I just spent my time, I built a Lego set, haven't done a video review, didn't want to, it was just a Lego City set, it was the Car Crusher set, Scrapyard set, built that, watched a couple of episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, I watched The Survivors, and I watched yesterday's Enterprise, a couple of my favourite episodes, watched a ton of YouTube, obviously, watched 2 episodes of season 2 of Poker Face, had a little nap on my chair, I caught up with the washing, because I've got Lizzie's washing here to take back to her, because I'm doing her washing whilst her mum's away. Sorry, this is terribly interesting, isn't it? I washed the blanket that lives on my chair, I washed the cat beds, I reorganised the living room a bit, I've got some Lego in the boot, which needs to go to the vault. You know, just did a load of stuff. But I didn't leave the house. Didn't leave the house all day. So, you know, arguably you could say that I've limited my world a little bit, but there you go. That's my choice, right? And I guess it's Liz's choice as well to stay in her room. So, anyway, I don't know if I mentioned this, but a little while ago when I busted Liz out of Southampton Hospital and took her back to Holy Cross, when we got there, we had a bunch of doctors and nurses came in. And it's like, imagine that you're reading a book and you suddenly skip 5 chapters and you're suddenly talking about a whole lot of stuff you don't know about. We were talking about Liz's experience in Southampton, and suddenly we were talking about palliative care. And I'm like, where's this come from? And then they said they would get a Macmillan nurse to come out. Now, Macmillan, they do kind of like end-of-life care for like cancer patients and that kind of thing, and which is like, you know, this is heavy stuff, right? So the Macmillan nurse came out, and I was feeling particularly low at the time because we'd been told that Liz couldn't come home that day, but the day that day I got back from Southampton, and that literally the day before, or a couple of days, or around that time, the works to the downstairs bathroom were being finished for the second time, and the house was all ready for her to come back, and then we were told she couldn't come back, and I was absolutely crushed. So I was in a really low position, right? And the Macmillan lady was there, and she was like, "Oh, it's no big deal. I've got a patient that I've been seeing for 14 years. It doesn't mean, blah, blah, blah." And I kind of waited right until the end, and I was like, "Do you do counselling for relatives?" And she said, "Yes, we do." So I asked for counselling because, and there's going to be a bit of a trigger warning here, I was literally suicidal at that time because of the news that we'd had about Liz. And anyway, this week, finally, about a month later, last Tuesday, I had my first counselling session. It's online. I don't mind. But I kind of felt the need to talk to somebody about some of the very worrying thoughts that were going through my head. The problem is I think I suffer from an abundance of empathy. And the problem is that when I interact with people, I tend to internalize their problems, and I tend to think it's my fault, or I take the burden upon myself. It's like if I'm at work and there's something going wrong, I have this nasty tendency to internalize the problem and assume it's my fault. Now, you might say that that's a narcissistic element. I don't know, to be honest, but I tend to internalize stuff, and I feel the guilt and the blame and all the rest of it, right? And it's almost as if there's an arrogant part of me that believes the whole world revolves around me. And maybe that's partly it, right? But anyway, as a result of that, I deliberately keep friends at arm's length. And I have very, very few people that I personally interact with. I have lots and lots of friends online, but I have very few people that I will personally engage with. Nobody comes round to my house because of this, because I've got very few actual friends, and that's my choice, because I don't go anywhere, and I choose not to engage with people because I find it very complicated to engage with people, and they tell me their problems and I internalize those problems, and then suddenly I've got that burden on top of me, right? And I'll want to help out, I'll want to lend them money or buy them things or whatever, Anyway, one of the very, very few friends that I had was Siobhan, who died over 9 months ago now, and as a result, that's one less route that I've got to talk about stuff with people. Even though I was pushing her away, at least there was somebody there that I could reach out to, and so that's one less person, and thus I've got nobody to talk about, which is partly the reason for doing this vlog, is so that I can express my views to people without necessarily having to take views back and sucking those views in and getting wrapped up in the guilt and the burden and worrying about their issues. Do you know what I mean? You might say that's a slightly antisocial approach, and it probably is, right? But it's also a defense mechanism. Anyway, I decided I needed to have some counselling. I've had counselling before. This ain't my first rodeo. I've had at least 2 counselling bouts before. And I've spoken to this guy, but I'm a lot more self-aware than I was maybe 10 years ago. Even a couple of years ago, I've realised some things about me that took me a while to realise. One of those was an epiphany that I had in this very vlog when I was doing a walk, and I suddenly realised why I push back so hard against people who tried to persuade me to do things. There's a reason for that, and I worked it out by talking, and I find it useful. So number one, this vlog is useful for me to talk these things through and realise things about myself and to help me cope with stuff, and also as a record for the future and a record for my children once I've gone, if they're interested. But also it's kind of a therapy for me, but I needed that extra help with a bit of counselling. So we've got another session next week, next Tuesday. So and I don't want to be too heavy about this. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, the viewers, right now, and I don't want anyone to worry or overreact, right? I have basically had essentially 2 nervous breakdowns in my life, and I'm desperately trying to hold off the third, right? Which is this whole thing with Liz, which is again another reason for doing this vlog. It's to kind of vent, right? My first nervous breakdown was in 1997, and I was first put on antidepressants. And I'm going to be brutally honest with you, and here, another trigger warning, everybody. And I'm not cutting this out of YouTube. I've cut talk like this out of YouTube videos before for fear that it's going to tip people over the edge or whatever. And I'm just being honest, and I'm not planning on doing anything about it. But every day for the last 28 years, I have thought about committing suicide, right? I've never done anything about it. It's just like, it's become like a habit, like a random abstract thought. Things get a bit heavy and I think, oh, I could check out of this. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, it's something that I am constantly having to fight against. Some days are worse than others. And particularly when we were told that Liz couldn't come home, I felt really low. And again, I wasn't doing anything about it, but I found myself working through the mechanics of it. But partly, it needs to be quick. And luckily, in this country, we don't have access to things like firearms, so that's good. And number 2, I didn't want my children to find me in the house because, but I didn't do anything about it. I did nothing about it, but it became like, not an impulse, but it became like a constant voice in the back of my head. It's time to check out, it's time to check out. And every time I have an emotional issue, like a pet dies or something, that's kind of like my default reaction. And I can't explain it. And I want to reassure everybody, I have done nothing about this, and I'm not planning on doing anything about it. But it's like this rut that my brain's got into. It's like this habit that my brain's got into that I am constantly having to push back against and kind of fight. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense at all? So, if you want to unsubscribe because you're hearing me moaning about stuff, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I'm still going to carry on doing this vlog because I find it useful for me. And to be honest with you, the fact that I currently, as of this morning, have 374 subscribers is a bonus, right? But I'm being honest in this vlog. You'll get nothing from me if not honesty in this vlog, right? No point me sitting here telling lies. I am the world's first outfluencer, as I call it. Most people online or influencers are like, hey, look at me, isn't my life brilliant? No, life isn't brilliant. Life is a constant struggle, and anyone who tells you otherwise is a liar. And people show the good side of their lives, but with me, you'll see everything, right? I'm a bit up and down in my moods, mostly down lately, but but this vlog helps me. And one thing I've noticed recently is somebody put a comment on one of my videos of the day. It was last week's video about Liz visiting home. They said, I came to you for the Lego. Thank you for sharing your life. And that's brilliant. I like to see that because I do videos about Lego, I do drone flights, I do other random kind of stuff. And I suspect I've brought in people from all these different audiences, but I also do vlogs about my life. Now, if you don't want to watch those vlogs about my life, it's easy because I will tag every single vlog video has a tag or will have a title, and the life ones just start with the word life. And if you don't want to watch those, that's fine. If you just want to watch the Lego ones, that's fine. If you just want to watch the drone ones, few as they are, that's fine. But if you watch the life ones, thank you for being here, really, and listening to me burbling on for nearly 20 minutes now as I drive to Hazelmere. I'm just being brutally honest. This vlog is nothing if not pure honesty, right? No point me lying to you or to me or to anyone else. You'll see everything, and I'm vlogging about my life, and I make no apologies for that. And I've noticed lately my subscriber numbers dip up and down. I'll lose a subscriber, the next day I'll gain one. I'll lose one, I'll gain one. At the moment, it's pretty plateaued, my viewership. And it's probably because of vlogs like this. People think they've joined for a Lego channel, and then they find some old man bitching and moaning about his life and think, oh no, I'm going to check out. Which is fine. I quite understand why you might want to check out. And no criticism or judgment intended or implied, you know? It's just the way it is, right? Right.
Hello, boys and girls.
Wait a minute, we're not started yet. Right. Now.
Hello, boys and girls.
See, she said, hello, boys and girls, without being prompted. However, you've failed to do one thing. Right. Put your phone down and talk to me.
I was looking for Bob.
We'll have a look again in a minute when we're inside, when you've stopped complaining about being cold.
Where's cold?
It's not cold. Tell the boys and girls what you've done in the last week.
I have done physio walking. I walked from my room to reception and then got wheeled to treehouse. I walked up and down the treehouse 3 times. Then I walked halfway back. Then I got wheeled to the reception. I walked from reception back to my room, which doesn't sound a lot, but when you can't walk, it's a really long way.
But something else happened this week, didn't it?
I got put in isolation because I did a big, soft bowel movement. So they was making sure it wasn't DNC. But I wasn't vomiting. It was only the once. And now I'm okay.
Why did you tell them?
I don't know.
And they cancelled your physio, didn't they?
Postponed it. I did it on Friday instead. But I did have an argument with the person who postponed it. I argued with her.
Do you know what I've just found?
A bead.
Piece of Lego. Stuck here in the bench, in the table.
Mm.
It's a sign. Who's that?
Jacek.
Who?
Jacek.
Latta? Jacek.
He's upstairs now.
He's the scary one.
He's not really scary.
Well, what else have you done this week?
I did walking along the corridor on physio day 2.
Up here?
Yeah. I did a few sit-to-stands in the gym and then walked up here and back and up and round to reception. No, not round to the lift. Got the lift down and then from the lift at the end of the corridor to my room, which was lots more walking, which was very tiring. And then on Friday, after I had a shower, from which I was tired anyway, I then did 30 minutes of cycling. I cycled forward for 10, back for 10, and another back for 10. You do 10 minutes and then you rest. And then yesterday, I had visitors. I like having visitors.
Who visited you?
Auntie Pam and Alice and Anthony. Not Anthony, Alice and Matt.
My Auntie Pam.
Your Auntie Pam. I don't have an Auntie Pam. She's your Auntie Pam. And she brought me some pyjamas. So I'm inundated with pyjamas, which is good because I like pyjamas. I've just got to take it there.
I'm sure they'll be fine.
I'm sure. And then day poor Andrew and his smiley self.
Is there someone else here?
Precisely. There probably is. Are you in this shot? Or is it just me?
I'm in it. Just about.
When you lean forward?
I'm in it now.
You're not now. So I'm just talking to camera, which is of no use to anybody. And probably very, very, very boring for your viewers.
I haven't got any viewers anyway,
And I'm cold.
so I wouldn't worry about it.
And I'm very cold. It's very cold.
Okay. In that case, say goodbye to the boys and girls.
Goodbye, boys and girls.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Right, it's about 8 minutes to 7. About 8 minutes to 7, approximately. No, it is 8 minutes to 7. And I'm on the way home. I'm going to go home via the vault because yesterday I did a little bit of reorganising in the lounge. Had some Lego sets that have been there probably 10 years or more. They're absolutely caked in dust. And the cats keep knocking bits off because it was right next to their downstairs cat tower and all this other stuff. So I put my Playmobil Klingon Bird of Prey there instead because I've got my Playmobil USS Enterprise on the floor and I thought I'd put the two together. So I've got a load of Lego in the back. I'm going to go and drop it off at the vault. It'll save me having to do it tomorrow, which is obviously Monday, and it'll clear the space out in the boot. My daughter Alice is going to be coming home tomorrow. I haven't seen her for ages. She visited her mum yesterday. She has popped home briefly today whilst I've been out to drop off a load of stuff. Her boyfriend Matt has a new job and is going for training in London for 3 weeks. So apart from the weekends, he's going to be put up in a hotel apparently. So Alice is going to spend the next 3 weeks, apart from the weekends, at home, which will be different and nice. I'll actually have someone else in the house. So that'll be quite pleasant, I'm sure. So she's coming home tomorrow. Excuse me. Don't know when. And I'm jolly tired. I just bought a new game on PlayStation 5. I watch a YouTuber called Wolfpack345, and I've been watching him for years actually, and he does some excellent sort of cinematic kind of style, narrative driven videos of him playing Silent Hunter, and I think War on the Sea is another one, and also the game U-Boat, which has just come out on PlayStation 5, and apparently I had £15 worth of credits on PlayStation 5, which I didn't know about. Liz just gave me another tenner, so I've bought that. I know it's a bit buggy. I've heard it's a bit buggy. It only came out like a few days ago. It's a console port, so you know, I don't know how playable it's going to be, but I really like this guy's YouTube videos, so I'm going to try and play it tonight, I think. And meanwhile, I'm going to turn this camera around and you can see, hopefully, the absolutely beautiful clouds that are ahead of me as I drive home. I don't know how well you can see those, but they're absolutely fantastic. Proper golden hour. sunset. Yeah. Excuse me for yawning. Anyway, thanks for joining me for this episode of Total Ramblings. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please remember to do all the usual YouTubey stuff. Like, subscribe, comment, share, hate, unsubscribe, complain about me, go, oh my God, this guy's talking about real life. I don't mind. Whatever. But thanks for watching anyway. Hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.